Located in the Attica region of Greece, ancient Athens was one of the most influential and outstanding cities in the entire history of Western civilization. Dating back thousands of years, Athens thrived during the classical period of ancient Greece, excelling as a center of culture, politics, philosophy, and the arts. Athens' beginnings date back to the Bronze Age, although the information available about this early period is often based on legends and myths, which make it difficult to fully distinguish the historical reality. In Greek mythology, a half-man, half-serpent demigod called Cecrops emerged from the earth. He is regarded as the first king of Athens and is often associated with the establishment of key elements of civilization, such as agriculture, religion, and social organization. Erechtheus, who succeeded Cecrops as king, is another mythical character associated with the origins of Athens. The best-known legend related to Erechtheus surrounds the dispute between the goddess Athena and Poseidon over the city's patronage. Not wanting to let any of the gods get angry and vengeful, Cecrops thought it would be fairer to let the people vote. The people who fished at sea voted for Poseidon, who would help them with their profession. On the other hand, the women, who made their living working on the land, voted for Athena. Since there were more women than men, Athena was the winner, and the city was named after her. Some versions of the myth say that Erechtheus is one of Athena's sons. Variations exist in the story of his birth, but one of them involves Athena giving birth to Erechtheus after having swallowed an olive seed. Erechtheus is connected to the construction of the Erechtheion Temple on the Acropolis of Athens, dedicated to him and other deities such as Poseidon and Hephaestus. Athens was settled during the Mycenaean period, lasting from 1600 to 1100 BC, as evidenced by fortifications and palaces on the Acropolis. But the collapse of the Mycenaean civilization ushered in a period of decline and obscurity in Athens during the so-called Greek Dark Ages. The city resurfaced during the Archaic period, between 800 and 480 BC, bearing witness to the enforcement of laws by the Athenian legislator Draco and more far-reaching reforms by the statesman Solon. Clisthenes was an archaic Greek politician who continued Solon's work at the end of the 6th century BC and was instrumental in Athens's political evolution. Clisthenes is often considered the father of Athenian democracy for his reforms, including the establishment of a popular assembly and territorial redistribution. Athens reached its peak during the 5th century BC under the leadership of Pericles, an era of great prosperity and cultural development. The Athenian society and culture in ancient Greece were outstanding for their lasting influence on Western civilization. In different periods, such as the Archaic, Classical, and Hellenistic, Athenian society underwent several transformations. Athenian society was split into different classes, including citizens, foreign residents, and slaves. Male citizens had political rights and took part in voting on important issues in the assembly. Citizenship was limited to adult males born to Athenian parents, with women, foreigners, and slaves excluded. Athens was the birthplace of Greek philosophy, with notable philosophers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. They studied ethical, political, and metaphysical issues, having a significant influence on Western thought. In Athens, education was mainly aimed at male citizens. Children were taught at home until the age of 6, after which they went to public schools. Classical Athens was noted for its remarkable artistic achievements, especially during Pericles' rule. The building of the Acropolis, including the Parthenon, is an outstanding example of classical Greek architecture. Athens was also an intellectual hotbed, with notable breakthroughs in mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. Athenian society was dynamic and distinguished by a remarkable appreciation of the arts and philosophy. Theater had a central role in Athenian culture, with drama festivals such as the Dionysia. Playwrights such as Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides wrote plays that explored mythological themes and ethical issues. Ancient Greek literature flourished in Athens, with epics such as Homer's Iliad and Odyssey standing out. Athens, as one of the main city-states of ancient Greece, was embroiled in several wars throughout its history. Athens' military might during its golden age in the 5th century BC was quite remarkable, and it played a significant role in the Greco-Persian Wars and the Peloponnesian War. It built long walls, known as the Themistoclean Wall, connecting the city to the port of Piraeus. This allowed Athens to retain access to the sea, even in siege situations. Light Athenian infantry, consisting mainly of citizen soldiers, were well trained and used spears and shields. Athens also had hoplites, heavy infantrymen, who comprised the backbone of the army. They were equipped with spears, shields, breastplates, helmets, and a sword for close-range combat. Athens managed to assemble a remarkable navy made up of triremes, fast and maneuverable ships. Outstanding strategists, such as Themistocles, had crucial roles in the development and command of the Athenian navy. Athenian control of the seas provided economic and strategic advantages, as it controlled trade routes and held significant influence in the Delian League. Athens had a key role in the Greco-Persian Wars, a series of conflicts between the Greek city-states and the Persian Empire, led by Darius I and later his son Xerxes I. The Greco-Persian Wars had two main campaigns: the First Greco-Persian War, which lasted from 492 to 490 BC, and the Second Greco-Persian War, fought from 480 to 479 BC. Under the leadership of the strategist Miltiades, the Athenians achieved a decisive victory over the Persians at the Battle of Marathon during the First Greco-Persian War in September 490 BC on a plain east of Athens. According to legend, an Athenian messenger named Pheidippides ran 42 kilometers to Athens to proclaim victory before dying of exhaustion. Pheidippides' massive effort gave rise to the marathon race held in many countries today. Xerxes I, Darius' successor, launched a massive invasion of Greece, resulting in the Second Greco-Persian War. The Athenian fleet, headed by Themistocles, went on to score a key victory in the Greek naval battle of Salamis. This success solidified the Athenian reputation as a naval power, paving the way for the development of the Delian League. Greek forces, including Athenians, were victorious at the Battle of Plataea and the Battle of Mycale in 479 BC, cementing Greek resistance against the Persians. The Athenian involvement in the Greco-Persian Wars was a crucial moment in Greek history, shaping events that had a lasting impact on the identity and development of the Greek city-states. Rising tensions between Athens and Sparta surfaced after the Greco-Persian Wars, especially due to the increasing naval power and the Delian League led by Athens. Squabbles over territories and regional interests increased hostilities between the two powers. Sparta led the Peloponnesian League, a coalition of Peloponnesian city-states, while Athens led the Delian League, a naval alliance formed to resist the Persian threat. The war broke out when Sparta declared war on Athens, setting the stage for a drawn-out conflict. Athens trusted its powerful navy, while Sparta relied on its impressive land infantry. An epidemic struck Athens, however, causing great devastation and leading to the death of the Athenian leader Pericles, and both Athens and Sparta faced internal uprisings and dissent during the conflict. Between 431 and 421 BC, the Archidamian War was an early phase of the Peloponnesian War, a conflict between the city-states of Athens and Sparta, along with their respective coalitions. This stage of the war was named after the Spartan king, Archidamus II, who led Sparta during this period. Athens' tactic was to avoid a head-on confrontation with the powerful Spartan army, and instead rely on its naval fleet while the walls protected the city from a land siege. There were several years of limited clashes and skirmishes during this phase, but no major decisive battles. The prolonged war led to the economic and social devastation for both cities and their alliances. The Battle of Aegospotami, which occurred in 405 BC, was one of the closing events of the Peloponnesian War and had a crucial role to play in the outcome of the conflict. Following a series of unfavorable events for Athens, including the disastrous expedition to Sicily in 415, naval and land warfare continued with an advantage for Sparta. The Athenian fleet, headed by Alcibiades, sustained significant losses, and Athens' naval power was undermined. Now, under the command of Conon, the Athenian fleet was anchored near Aegospotami on the Thracian coast. The Spartan commander, Lysander, spearheaded a daring night raid. The Athenian fleet was taken off guard and could not resist due to its lack of preparation and numerical inferiority. Many Athenian ships were captured or destroyed, and most of the remaining Athenian triremes were either seized or burned. The defeat at Aegospotami left Athens virtually without a naval fleet. This proved to be a decisive blow, since it relied heavily on its navy to maintain the upper hand in the war. Isolated and enfeebled, Athens no longer had the resources or military capability to continue its resistance. The next year, in 404 BC, Athens surrendered, bringing the Peloponnesian War to an end. Athens, weakened and starving, was obliged to accept harsh conditions of surrender, resulting in the end of its Delian League, the dismantling of its long walls, and the loss of its colonies. The Hellenistic period started after the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BC and lasted for approximately the next 3 centuries. Athens, once a powerful Greek city-state, underwent significant changes in its political, economic, and cultural position during this period. Following Alexander's death, his generals, known as Diadochi, divided his empire into independent realms. Athens came under the rule of the Antigonid kingdom. Cassander, one of the Diadochi, held sway in Athens for a while, leading to a period of Macedonian rule. He rebuilt parts of Athens' walls, which had been demolished, but the city did not fully recover its former glory. Athens came under Roman rule from the 2nd century BC, after the defeat of Macedon in the Third Macedonian War. Athens then became part of the Roman province of Achaia, and, subsequently, a Roman colony. Contrary to many other conquered cities, Rome was respectful of Athens' cultural and intellectual legacy. Many of the city's monuments and buildings have been preserved. The city remained an intellectual center. Philosophers such as Antiochus of Athens and philosophical schools such as the Platonic Academy continued to function. The Roman Emperor Hadrian, who held Greek culture in high regard, built Hadrian's Library in Athens, contributing to the preservation and furthering of knowledge. The Roman philanthropist Herodes Atticus financed the restoration and construction of several buildings in Athens, including the Odeon of Herodes Atticus. Following the breakup of the Roman Empire, Athens came under rule of the Byzantine Empire, characterized by a strong Orthodox Christian influence. Several Byzantine churches were constructed in Athens, featuring architectural and artistic elements distinctive to the Byzantine tradition, such as frescoes and mosaics. Athens underwent demographic changes over the centuries, with a decrease in population compared to its former magnitude. Economic decline also affected the city, with a decline in its role as a commercial center. The city faced challenges, including invasions and looting by barbarian invaders and pirates. Ancient Athens' legacy is vast and enduring. Athens' archaeological sites, including the Acropolis, are UNESCO World Heritage Sites, underlying its global importance. Its influence is still felt in many disciplines and forms of government around the world, making Athens one of the fundamental pillars of Western culture.